What is up, comic fam, and welcome to the Legion of Comics. I'm Mark, and today we're going to take a look at the Legion list, the upcoming books for New Comic Book Day that will be on my pull list. But before we do that, check this out. Let's go ahead and give a big thank you to the channel sponsors, Justin Comics over on Instagram. If you're looking to get any of your books cleaned and pressed, be sure to hit him up. He can take care of you for as little as $10 per book. He's got some of the fastest turnaround times around, and he can also submit those straight to CGC or CBCS for you. Be sure to use code WeAreLegion to take advantage of that buy two, get the third free promo that we have going on right now. Also, a big shout out to Big Time Collectibles, who sponsors the monthly Legion loot box. So if you're interested in being entered to win the monthly giveaway box by Big Time Collectibles, be sure to hit that join button down below and follow the prompts. All right, let's get right to it. So this week, there's some awesome books coming out for the reading list, and I can't wait to get my hands on some of them. There's a few that are huge standouts, so I'm definitely going to dive into those a little bit. But first off, we have Batman 116, another Fear State tie-in. Let me go ahead and knock this little thing off. I see I still have that on there. But the Fear State saga continues, and, it just is what it is. I don't know what else to say about it. That last issue we saw that Miracle Molly took Batman down and showed him the machine that the Unsanity Collective was using to take away their trauma so that they can reach their full potential. And now that Scarecrow has it, he's going to use their stored trauma on the city, and that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life on all accounts. So I'm so ready for this to get over with and get onto the Joshua Williamson run. It's rough to read at this point. So hopefully there's a cool fight between him and Peacekeeper #1. And I don't know what else there could be. I can't imagine there being an epic fight between him and Scarecrow. The psychological stuff with Scarecrow that they're doing has been really fantastic. I won't even downplay that. The angle that they've taken with it, where it's more of like a, instead of a fear toxin, it's just a straight up psychological attack, I think has been really cool. And now they're kind of going away from that with this stored trauma from all these youngsters that he's going to let loose on the city. But anyways, next up we have Swamp Thing number 9 of 10 from Rom V. This series has been spectacular. If you have not been reading it, go back and get it. There should be like a trade coming out for at least the first 6, because it is a 10-issue miniseries. So maybe they'll break it up into 2. I can't imagine them doing all 10 in 1. But that last issue was the finale of the little Suicide Squad crossover. We saw that Swamp Thing took the bomb out of Peacemaker's neck, and he is now a free agent. We saw on the Suicide Squad title that looks like Rick Flag and his crew of Suicide Squad members is about to bring him in and go after Amanda Waller. That's a whole different story. If you're not reading Suicide Squad, you're missing out on one of the best monthly comics out there right now. But this has also been stellar. In that last issue, we finally got that backstory of this new avatar of the Green Levi Kume, and it was pretty heartfelt. It's pretty rough. The dude's got a tragic story, and we also revealed that his brother is actually an avatar of the Earth in some form or fashion. It's more like almost like witch doctor voodoo hoodoo stuff that empowered him, and he's now this Hedera or something called like that. But he's the one that has poisoned the green that's been throwing everything off that this new avatar is tasked with going to fix. So he's brother against brother, as it says on the title, and it's been good. It has been really good. Next up is one that I am so excited for, and that is Dark Knights of Steel by Tom Taylor. The 12-issue maxi series that's been teased for a couple of months is finally hitting shelves. So this is basically a sword and sorcery Elseworlds superhero title. How cool is that? Like, we don't have Elseworld titles anymore. That was basically like what ifs, like that Marvel does. DC had Elseworld titles where they would just take a story that wasn't in continuity and just self-contained, do whatever they wanted to with it. And that's what we're getting right here. But they're doing it in this classic, like Game of Thrones style DC comics. And I'm pumped for it. I can't wait to see these new heroes and villains reimagined in this new world where in comics, anything's possible already, but you have your set universes, and now they're going to tweak that set universe and give it its own rules and see what kind of savagery we get out of it. Tom Taylor doesn't miss. So if you're not picking up his stuff regularly, this is a great point just to jump onto something that's not tied down by any other reads or anything, and just have fun reading a wild comic. I'm sure it will be wild. Everything he does is wild. Next up, and this one's been on this list before, but it keeps getting moved around. It's Teen Titans Academy issue 7. So this book is just up and down, up and down. It's really weird. Like it really hasn't found its footing. So you've got like 3 tier of Teen Titans, like from the original classmen to the upperclassmen to this new freshman class. And they're focusing heavily on the freshman class these past few issues. And I don't care about these characters whatsoever. This book just might not be written for me at the moment, which is weird because some issues, the dynamic is kind of more for a mature reader than other issues. The dynamic is more for like early readers or like younger kids that are getting into comics. It's kind of all over the place. But in the story right now, we've had the youngsters kind of go off to have a little outing. They go to this town, and there's some crazy crap going on in this town that's always been inviting and nice to go to. Turns out Gorilla Grodd is there, and Gorilla Greg, his nephew, is part of the Teen Titans right now. So there's this weird dynamic cliffhanger that was left with Greg sitting next to Grodd, and it made it look like Greg had turned on him. So I don't know, man. I don't even know what the point of these past couple of issues are. Like the whole point of this series is supposed to be Red X. Like Red X was the big tease. It was a big draw, and they're just dragging it out and keeping them in the back burner just to keep selling copies without delivering. They need to get to the point. But next up, we have Batman Reptilian from Garth Ennis and my man Liam Sharp on the art. He's fantastic. And that last issue, we got really Garth Ennis. Very, very weird. We found out that Killer Croc was asexual and gave birth to this horrible mutation that's going around slaughtering people based on pheromones for feeding. Long story short, but it is wild. And so now that Batman knows what he's up against, now he's got to have to put the plan together and figure out how to stop it. So it has been absolutely twisted, and best of all, Liam Sharp's artwork on this has been hauntingly amazing. Next up, this book was on last week's pool, and this is a weird one for distribution reasons. So some people have this book and have read this book, myself included, and then other people have not gotten this book yet because their shops didn't release them. So what happened is Image pushed them back for a week because they had some issues, but shops didn't know that. They put them on sale or whatever. They just decided to sell them either way, but I got it. I read it. I enjoyed it. I definitely recommend this series. Primordial #1 was fantastic. This one's a little bit of filler on the characters, kind of setting your foundation a little bit maybe. But Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino are apparently a dynamic duo. This is really my first exposure to them working together. But Andrea Sorrentino, man, his art is amazing. And it's not just like an individual panel art. It's the way that he lays out panels and tells the story visually. Like what was it, Batman the Imposter that came out 2 weeks ago? Boom, that was fantastic. That was a very, very good read. It's not up everyone's alley, I'm sure. That was a well put together book, and this book follows suit. So the whole premise is like those 2 monkeys that we sent off into space back during the space race, as well as the Russian dog Laika. What really happened to them? Like they're kind of retconning history a little bit and changing things up and adding an alien element, possibly aliens. I haven't really explained it yet, but it is mind-warpingly cool. I highly suggest jumping on this one before it gets too far away from you. Last week, a second print of that first issue did come out, so get it. Don't miss out on this one. Next up, Mr. Miracle, The Source of Freedom finale is here. This book, man, that first issue, I was iffy about it, and I said as long as they kind of push through that crap and get going. Like the first issue was preachy. Since then, it has been nonstop, high-octane, pure Mr. Miracle. We've had a Ryan in here. We're like warping through the multiverse at this point, fighting on Apocalypse. It has been nuts in the last couple of issues. I cannot wait to see how this one plays out. If you're late to the game on this, this is the final issue, so go back. You can read the whole thing nonstop. It is wild. I will warn you that first issue is a little on the nose. It's a little, but dude, it takes off. It is fantastic. I'm enjoying this series. Next up, another one that I wasn't expecting to love so much, Arkham City #2 by Dan Waters and artwork by Danny. The Order of the World, Arkham City. That's a long-winded title. Long story short, because of the events of A-Day, not everybody died inside of Arkham Asylum. A lot of people got loose, and there is a psychic profiler from Arkham that is helping these detectives to try to track them down. It's done as a straight horror book. You almost forget that it takes place inside of DC Comics universe, and it is wicked. So the lady that was hired to help work with them, she was tracking some people down, but she also is aware of where some of them are and are working with them and not turning them directly in. Hence the 10-eyed man right there on the cover. And it is grotesque. It is twisted. It is dark, hard-boiled detective style book. And it had this really cool feel to it. Like as I was reading it, I forgot that we're in the world of superheroes, and these crazy, horrific acts that these people were making on a human level seemed extraordinary. Like even though, like Superman can fly and Green Lantern exists in here, you just get lost in it. It's so well done. Next up, Superman number 78, issue number 3. What an amazing series. I'm telling you, Venditti absolutely completely captured the era of Chris Reeve's Superman. And he just captured it perfectly and represented it to a new generation. And for people who grew up with it, like myself, I've absolutely loved this. It's kind of like a what if that first movie happened and then it went on and he met Brainiac. What would that encounter have been like? Lex Luthor is amazing and he's just like Gene Hackman. The way that all the characters interact with each other is great. So now we have Superman that went to go ask Lex for some of his help, and Lex reluctantly is doing it because he just feels trapped inside of his house arrest situation. So we'll see where it goes from here. I'm sure it's going to continue to be good, and this is definitely one that you have to have that nostalgic for. If you're going to try out a Superman book, go pick up a Philip Kennedy Johnson one. Don't use this as a tester. This is really specifically for people who are huge fans of that movie or fans at all of the Chris Reeve Superman movies. Another one that I am super hyped for. So we know that Rorschach just ended, Strange Adventures just ended, and both of those were Tom King maxi series. So he's already got his next one hitting shelves. So we have Tom King and Greg Smallwood writing Human Target, and this is going to be a 12-issue maxi series. This is book 1. So Christopher Chance there, his whole thing is he gets hired on, he disguises himself as his client, and he waits on people to make an attack on him, where he then stops the attackers. And so he's taken on the biggest job of his life in this series, and he's gotten hired by Lex Luthor. And apparently someone kills him, and he has to solve his own murder. So I'm guessing he doesn't actually die. And so he has to figure out who in the DC universe would actually want to go that far and kill Lex Luthor. And when I heard that, I'm thinking pretty much everybody almost. But we'll see how it plays out in true Tom King fashion. This is going to be a deep dive into like the human psyche probably, and I cannot wait for it. That cover is awesome with all those superhero hands on there. You got fire, and you got looks like Orion's hand, Batman's Batarang, Green Lantern's ring, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold. I mean, this is just going to be a blast. I can't wait to see like a whole all-star cast of characters all throughout it probably. So definitely can't wait, and that art looks beautiful. Last up, I think this is Dark Horse Comics, Last Flight Out. So I've read those first 2 issues. They were really good. I really enjoyed them a lot. It was nothing really original, but it's one of those well put together comics that is just a delight to read. So the purpose of this is Earth is dying. Humans are evacuating. Some are staying behind. The lead engineer who's in charge of getting everybody off the planet's daughter is one of the people that have chosen to stay behind. So he's gone out with only a few hours left on Earth to go find his daughter, and it's gone completely horrible. And then that last issue, they kind of set up like how major cities that we take for granted are now ran by warlords and all kinds of stuff, and he's in the midst of that trying to get a hold of his daughter. And the big twist in the last issue was that his daughter is refusing to go, and that's where it cut it off. So we're going to see if he tries to drag her along for the ride, if the military people with him are going to stay with him or just dip out on him or drag her back. Either way, it's been a nail biter. It's been very enjoyable. Highly recommend it. So that's all that I have on my reading list for this week. Who knows if I might hit 1 or 2 more. Really, if time permits, I normally try to. But be sure to check your LCSs to see if there's anything extra that you might want to pick up this week. And I do want to give a big shout out to my LCS, the Augusta Book Exchange. That's where I get all my comic books every week from that I read. Paul and Don over there are the absolute best. If you're ever in the Augusta area, be sure to stop by there. Tell them what's up. Let them know that we are Legion. And if you want to know what my top pick for this coming week is going to be sure to check out Chris the Comic Vet's channel. Subscribe to that. Hit that notification bell, because every Sunday he has a video that drops where him and I give you our top pick for the week and tell you why you should consider picking it up. So that's it for this week, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Consider joining the channel and get in on that monthly Legion loot box. I'm going to be drawing for the winner. I'm going to be gathering the names today, the day of this video. I'm going to work on gathering the names. So after today, that's it for this month. And I'm going to try to have a video later today as well to show off all the books that were sent by the channel sponsor that will be going out to the community. So until next time, guys, as always, I'm Mark, but we are leaving.